What if I told you that the key to protecting your mind might be sitting in your kitchen right now? Did you know that researchers at Harvard Medical School have discovered that certain foods can actually help shield your brain from cognitive decline? Hello, dear seniors. Today, we're going to explore something that I know concerns many of us, keeping our minds sharp as we age. If you've ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there, or struggled to remember a grandchild's birthday, you're not alone. I understand that feeling, and so do millions of others across the country. But what if I told you that simple changes to your diet could make a significant difference? The foods we're about to discuss have been studied by leading institutions like the National Institute on Aging and have shown remarkable potential to support brain health. Before we begin, I want you to know that I see you. I understand the worry that comes with noticing those small memory lapses, the fear of becoming a burden to those you love. But today's information might just change everything for you. Let's explore these powerful brain-protecting foods together. Have you ever misplaced your keys and felt that moment of panic? The frustration of knowing something should be simple to remember, but it just isn't coming to you. That's where our first brain-saving food comes in: blueberries. These small, unassuming berries might just be nature's perfect brain food. According to a landmark study from Tufts University, older adults who consumed blueberries regularly showed significantly improved memory performance, equivalent to being several years younger mentally. What makes blueberries so special? They're packed with compounds called anthocyanins that actually cross the blood-brain barrier and accumulate in areas of the brain essential for learning and memory. These powerful compounds reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, two major factors in brain aging. Dr. Martha Claire Morris, a nutrition and brain health specialist at Rush University Medical Center, explains that just 1 cup of blueberries per day can make a measurable difference in cognitive performance. I understand how devastating it can be to see friends or loved ones struggle with memory loss. The helplessness you feel when someone you care about doesn't recognize faces or remember treasured memories. But isn't it empowering to know that something as simple and delicious as adding blueberries to your morning routine could help protect you? Mary from Ohio wrote to me last month saying, "After adding blueberries to my breakfast every day for 6 months, I've noticed I'm much quicker with crossword puzzles and remembering names. Small changes can lead to remarkable results." But as powerful as blueberries are, they're just the beginning. Our next food might surprise you. It's something many doctors actually told us to avoid for years, but new research shows it could be one of the most powerful brain protectors in your kitchen. For decades, we were told to avoid fats. Remember those years when everything on the store shelves proudly proclaimed low-fat or fat-free? Well, it turns out that advice may have done our brains a disservice. Extra virgin olive oil might just be one of the most powerful brain-protecting foods we can consume. The Mediterranean diet, rich in olive oil, has been associated with a 30 to 35% lower risk of cognitive impairment, according to extensive research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't olive oil fattening? I hear this concern often, and I understand the worry. But here's what's fascinating. The monounsaturated fats in olive oil actually help reduce inflammation in the brain, and chronic inflammation is now believed to be one of the primary drivers of Alzheimer's disease. Think about this. In regions of Italy and Greece where olive oil consumption is highest, rates of dementia are significantly lower than here in America. The evidence is compelling enough that neurologists at Columbia University are now recommending olive oil consumption to their patients concerned about brain health. Perhaps you've noticed how difficult it can be to focus sometimes, or how frustrating it is when you can't recall information as quickly as you once did. These moments can be frightening, making you wonder what the future holds. But adding just 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to your daily diet could make a meaningful difference. Robert, a 78-year-old retired teacher from Florida, told me, I started using olive oil instead of butter about a year ago. My doctor just told me my inflammation markers have dropped significantly, and I feel more mentally alert than I have in years. Olive oil is remarkable, but it works even better when paired with our next brain-saving food, one that many of us have been throwing away without realizing its incredible brain-boosting potential. Have you ever heard someone describe the brain as being mostly fat? It's actually true. About 60% of your brain is made of fat, and the type of fat matters tremendously. This brings us to our third powerful brain food, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA, which makes up about 40% of the polyunsaturated fatty acids in your brain. A groundbreaking study from the University of California found that people with higher levels of omega-3s had increased blood flow in the brain regions associated with memory and learning. Even more remarkably, the Rush University Memory and Aging Project discovered that people who ate fish once a week had a 10% slower decline in memory compared to those who rarely ate fish. I know that for many of you, the fear of losing your independence is very real. The thought of not being able to recognize loved ones or remember cherished memories can be overwhelming. I've received hundreds of letters from viewers expressing this exact concern. Margaret from Pennsylvania wrote to me saying, "My mother had dementia for 12 years before she passed. Every day, I worry that I'll follow the same path." I understand this fear deeply, Margaret, and that's precisely why I'm sharing this information today. Dr. Christine Yaffe, a professor of psychiatry and neurology at the University of California, San Francisco, explains that the DHA in fatty fish helps maintain the structural integrity of brain cells and enhances communication between neurons. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I don't like fish, or it's too expensive. I hear you. That's why I'll share some alternatives and affordable options later in our program, because everyone deserves access to brain-healthy choices, regardless of taste preferences or budget constraints. What if I told you that combining fatty fish with our next food could actually amplify the brain benefits of both? This next item has been called brain-shaped for a reason, and new research suggests it might be one of the most powerful memory-enhancing foods available. Have you ever really looked at a walnut? When you crack one open, it bears an uncanny resemblance to the human brain with its two hemispheres and convoluted appearance. And it turns out, this might not be coincidental. Walnuts contain several compounds that may help reduce oxidative damage and inflammation in brain cells. A landmark study from the New York State Institute for Basic Research in Developmental Disabilities found that walnuts may help reduce the risk, delay the onset, or slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. I understand how worrying it can be to occasionally struggle with names or dates that once came easily to you. These moments can make you feel vulnerable and anxious about what might lie ahead. But knowledge is power, and small dietary changes, like adding walnuts to your routine, could make a significant difference. What makes walnuts unique is their high concentration of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, an omega-3 fatty acid, as well as polyphenols that have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. The Harvard School of Public Health conducted a study spanning nearly 20 years, finding that women who ate just 2 servings of walnuts per week had better overall cognitive function than those who rarely consumed nuts. James, a 75-year-old from Michigan, shared with me, "I started eating a handful of walnuts each afternoon with my tea. After a few months, I noticed I was remembering phone numbers more easily, something I'd been struggling with." These simple nuts pack a powerful punch for your brain health. Just a quarter cup daily, about a handful, appears to provide significant benefits. But there's another food that works wonderfully with walnuts, creating what researchers are now calling a synergistic effect for brain protection. This next food was once thought to be unhealthy, but has now been vindicated by science as potentially life-saving for your brain cells. Did you know that some of the foods we've been told to avoid might actually be good for our brains? This next one might just be the most delicious surprise on our list. Dark chocolate. Yes, chocolate contains flavonols that have been shown to improve blood flow to the brain. A study published in the journal Hypertension found that consuming cocoa flavonols daily could improve mental performance in older adults with mild cognitive impairment. I know that feeling of guilt that often comes with enjoying something sweet. Many of us grew up being told that treats like chocolate should be avoided. But imagine my delight in sharing that the right kind of chocolate, in moderation, might actually be protecting your brain. Dr. Giulia Maria Passanetti of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai notes that cocoa flavonols may enhance the function of a specific part of the brain called the dentate gyrus, which is associated with age-related memory decline. For many of you watching, the fear of becoming forgetful isn't just about missing appointments. It's about losing the essence of who you are, your cherished memories, your connection to those you love. This concern is valid and deeply personal. Elizabeth, a 72-year-old viewer, wrote, "After my sister was diagnosed with dementia, I became obsessed with preserving my own memory. Learning that some foods I enjoy, like dark chocolate, might actually help feels like a gift." The key is choosing dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa content and consuming it in moderation, about 1 ounce a day. The higher the percentage of cocoa, the greater the potential brain benefits. But here's what's really fascinating. Our next brain-saving food actually enhances the absorption of the beneficial compounds in dark chocolate. It's an everyday spice that researchers at UCLA found could be one of the most powerful brain protectors ever discovered. What if one of the most powerful brain-protecting substances on Earth wasn't an expensive medication, but a simple spice used for thousands of years? Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, has shown such remarkable effects on brain health that it's now being studied extensively by neuroscientists around the world. UCLA researchers found that curcumin may help clear the brain of beta amyloid plaques, one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. I understand the feeling of helplessness that can come with watching loved ones struggle with cognitive decline. The worry that there's nothing you can do to stop the same thing from happening to you. This concern keeps many of us awake at night, wondering about our future. But here's something truly hopeful. A study in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry showed that people who took curcumin supplements twice daily showed significant improvements in memory and attention, while those taking a placebo did not. Brain scans actually revealed fewer amyloid and tau signals, which are associated with cognitive decline in the people taking curcumin. Dr. Gary Small, director of the UCLA Longevity Center, explains that curcumin's anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties may be protecting brain cells from damage and enhancing function even as we age. William, an 83-year-old from Texas, shared, "My neurologist suggested I add turmeric to my diet 2 years ago. My family has noticed I'm sharper and quicker with responses than I was before." The challenge with turmeric is that curcumin isn't easily absorbed by the body. That's why I recommend combining it with black pepper, which contains piperine that enhances curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. A single golden milk, turmeric mixed with warm milk, with a dash of black pepper before bed, could be a powerful addition to your brain health routine. But as remarkable as turmeric is, it becomes even more effective when paired with our next food, which contains a compound that scientists are calling a miracle molecule for aging brains. Have you been walking past one of nature's most powerful brain medicines in the grocery store without realizing it? Those humble leafy greens, spinach, kale, collards, and Swiss chard, might be some of the most potent brain protectors available to us. The Rush University Memory and Aging Project, which followed elderly subjects for years, made an extraordinary discovery. People who ate just 1 serving of leafy greens per day had brains that functioned as if they were 11 years younger compared to those who rarely ate these vegetables. I know that maintaining your independence is precious to you. The ability to manage your own affairs, drive where you need to go, remember your medications, and stay connected with friends and family. These aren't just conveniences, they're the essence of dignity as we age. Dr. Martha Claire Morris, the lead researcher on the Rush University study, found that specific nutrients in leafy greens, vitamin K, lutein, folate, and beta-carotene, appear to protect against inflammation and oxidative stress that can damage brain cells over time. These vegetables are rich in a compound called luteolin, which has been shown to reduce age-related inflammation in the brain and may help prevent memory deficits. Patricia, a 76-year-old from California, told me, "I started adding spinach to my smoothies every morning. My husband thinks I'm sharper now than I was 5 years ago. My bridge group has noticed too." Just 1 cup of raw leafy greens, or a half cup cooked daily, seems to provide significant protection. That's equivalent to about 1 large salad, or a small side of cooked greens with dinner. The compounds in leafy greens work throughout your body, but they have a special affinity for brain tissue. And what's fascinating is how they interact with our next brain-saving food, a humble breakfast staple that scientists now believe may be one of our strongest allies against cognitive decline. Did you know that some of the sweetest treats nature provides might also be saving your brain cells? Beyond the blueberries we discussed earlier, strawberries and raspberries contain powerful compounds that are showing tremendous promise for brain health. These berries are rich in anthocyanins and other flavonoids that have been shown to enhance memory and may delay brain aging by up to 2.5 years, according to research from Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard Medical School. I understand the feelings of frustration and worry that come when you can't recall a name or forget an appointment. Those moments when you wonder if it's just normal aging or something more serious. These concerns are valid and shared by so many. Dr. Elizabeth DeVore, who led the Harvard Berry Study, found that women who consumed 2 or more servings of strawberries and blueberries each week showed a slower progression of cognitive decline, by up to 2.5 years compared to those who ate fewer berries. The flavonoids in these berries seem to accumulate in the hippocampus, an area of the brain crucial for learning and memory. They appear to improve cell signaling and may even stimulate the growth of new neurons, something once thought impossible in adult brains. Helen, a 79-year-old from Washington State, shared, "I've been eating berries with breakfast for the past year. My grandchildren have noticed I'm remembering their stories better and keeping track of our conversations more easily." What's particularly exciting is that berries' benefits appear to be dose-dependent, meaning the more consistently you consume them, the greater the potential protection. But there's another food that, when combined with berries, creates what scientists are calling a neuroprotective powerhouse. This next item is something many of us enjoy daily without realizing its remarkable brain-saving potential. What if that morning cup of coffee you've been enjoying for years has actually been protecting your brain all along? Recent research suggests this might be exactly the case. A meta-analysis published in the World Journal of Clinical Cases examined data from 11 observational studies with over 29,000 participants and found that moderate coffee consumption was associated with a lower risk of cognitive disorders, including Alzheimer's disease. I know many of you have heard conflicting information about coffee over the years. It's bad for your heart. It causes anxiety. It disrupts sleep. With so many changing recommendations, it's natural to feel confused and frustrated about what to believe. But Dr. Erwin Rosenberg, a professor at Tufts University's Friedman School of Nutrition Science and Policy, explains that coffee contains more than 1,000 compounds, many with antioxidant properties that may help protect brain cells from damage. The caffeine in coffee appears to block the action of adenosine, a substance in the brain that promotes sleep, but also suppresses important neurochemicals like dopamine and glutamate. By blocking adenosine, caffeine may help maintain healthy levels of these brain signaling chemicals. Richard, an 81-year-old retired engineer, told me, "I've been drinking 2 cups of coffee every morning for over 50 years. My neurologist says my cognitive test scores are exceptional for my age." Maybe there's a connection. The key appears to be moderation. Most studies show benefits with 1 to 3 cups daily. More than that doesn't seem to offer additional protection and might cause other issues like disrupted sleep or increased anxiety. But coffee works even better for your brain when paired with our final brain-saving food, one that ancient civilizations revered as sacred, but that many of us now consume without a second thought. Our final brain-saving food might be the most surprising of all. For years, eggs were vilified due to cholesterol concerns, but newer research has vindicated this breakfast staple, particularly when it comes to brain health. Eggs are one of the richest food sources of choline, a nutrient that's essential for the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which helps regulate memory and mood. The Framingham Heart Study found that people with higher choline intakes performed better on memory tests and were less likely to show signs of dementia. I understand the feeling of confusion that comes with constantly changing nutritional advice. First, eggs were good, then they were bad, and now they're good again? It can feel impossible to keep up and frustrating to try to make the right choices for your health. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, a biomedical scientist specializing in nutrient-gene interactions, explains that egg yolks are also rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that accumulate in the brain and eyes and may help preserve cognitive function as we age. What's particularly interesting is that these compounds in eggs appear to be more bioavailable, meaning your body can use them more effectively than the same nutrients from other sources. Dorothy, a 77-year-old from Maine, shared, "After reading about choline and brain health, I started eating an egg for breakfast most mornings. Within months, I noticed I was recalling names more easily, which had been a struggle for me." Studies suggest that just 1 egg per day may provide significant cognitive benefits. And contrary to previous concerns, recent research has found that moderate egg consumption isn't associated with increased heart disease risk for most people. As we come to the end of our journey today, I want you to take a moment to reflect on how empowering this information truly is. The foods we've discussed, blueberries, olive oil, fatty fish, walnuts, dark chocolate, turmeric, leafy greens, berries, coffee, and eggs, aren't exotic or expensive superfoods. They're accessible, delicious options that can be incorporated into your daily meals. I understand the fears that come with aging, the worry that you might lose your memories, your independence, or your sense of self. I've received thousands of letters from viewers expressing these exact concerns. Please know that you're not alone in these feelings, and more importantly, you're not helpless against cognitive decline. The latest research from institutions like Harvard, UCLA, and the National Institute on Aging gives us reason for genuine hope. Our dietary choices can make a meaningful difference in how our brains age. Remember Mary from Ohio with her blueberries, Robert from Florida with his olive oil, William from Texas with his turmeric, and all the others who shared their stories. These aren't miracle cures, but real people experiencing real improvements by making simple changes to their diets. I encourage you to start incorporating these foods into your meals this week. Perhaps begin with just 1 or 2 that appeal to you most. Small, consistent changes often lead to the most sustainable results. In next week's video, we'll explore the powerful combination of these brain-healthy foods with specific types of physical activity that have been shown to actually increase brain volume in older adults. The results of these combined approaches have astonished even the most skeptical researchers. Until then, remember this: your brain's future isn't entirely predetermined by your genes or your age. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish and protect the amazing organ that makes you uniquely you, with all your precious memories, wisdom, and personality. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear which of these brain-healthy foods you plan to try first. Please share in the comments below. And if you found this information valuable, please consider sharing it with someone you care about. Until next time, here's to your brain health and to many more years of clear thinking and cherished memories.